Together as we initiate chaos theory guarantees that we'll play like lightning shots sounding like thunder. For every time in the face that it hits us, we're faster. Well, they should know by now. They see the world keeps trying to shake us. It only waits us. The pendulum swings. The pendulum swings. It's in a beautiful darkness. Only another. It's full steam ahead. Full steam ahead. All above the Petty Express. Misdirected from the start. It's a runaway train. I come a freight train. I come a freight train. In a beautiful darkness, the Petty Express. In a beautiful
Now, as you guys can see, I have my official, because I didn't realize this until I did deep dive into real professional true crime trial watch YouTubers. But apparently, I have not been prepared. And I also decided today, see, I actually had a different reason for finding these, but if you need eyebrows for any reason, Amazon, they have like a $9 pack. Because I had decided to go into today for my own emotional stability, uh, giving the Commonwealth the absolute amount of disrespect they deserved. So I was looking for a Snidely Whiplash mustache, and I found out that I had actual Full Manchus, but then I realized I kind of wanted to say, "Hey, brother," and also felt like I shouldn't be around schools, while I was full Freddie Mercury. Not gonna lie, I'd cast me in Kill Bill 7. Um, but yes, welcome to my maladaptive coping behaviors. Quick warning, um, we do reserve the right here on the Petty Express to roast the ever-living hell out of, uh, unsympathetic harpies, but what we do not do, despite me wearing cat ears or having silly eyebrows, um, is disrespect, excuse me, the victims in this case. Um, but also, we have to survive this case. So if we tangent off a bit, if we, in self defense, use dark humor or silly eyebrows, or I'm wearing, my self defense cat ears, it is in no way meant as disrespect. Um, except to very certain people who should know who they are, um, and the Commonwealth. That being said, let's get into this. Quick warning, you guys. As always, puppy kitten breaks, really quick, like 30-second, just kind of resets. Um, are available. Also, Moxie breaks are about a minute and 49 seconds. So if we need a little bit of a longer break, let me know. But also be aware that you guys are also in charge of the stream. If you decide today, the 911 call obviously will be played for the jury due to rulings prior to this. We, the public, will not hear it. However, there are already transcripts that are getting out to the general public. And look, you guys, I'm not your mom. I'm not anything. I looked at the transcript for the Athena Strand audio recording of the crime that wasn't played. And legitimately, and I am trying not to use hyperbole, but I am not the same person after I read that. So I'm not your mom. I'm not anyone. I'm a YouTuber. I'm not in charge of your life, but do be aware that regardless of whether you read it or listen to it or don't, this is a moment of incredible heartbreak, and if it doesn't touch you, if it doesn't change you, then, I don't know how to talk to you because I'm not built like that, and, for good or ill, um, you know, I wouldn't recommend going to search it out unless you are very aware of the awfulness that you're going to be looking at. Like I said, I'm not Oprah, I'm not Jesus. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your free time, but do be aware that this is going to be an incredibly tough day. I am so mad that we have to watch another day of voyeuristic emotional waterboarding of this father who lost his 3 children. So I will be giving the Commonwealth the respect and energy they give out. Um, by that I mean, there might be curse words. Um, so I did just wanna preface that with, none of this, none of my righteous anger, none of my silly kind of coping mechanisms are meant to in any way be disrespectful to the family, friends, and the world that has lost these 3 children. Um, Not that I think anyone in chat needs that understood, but I do like to clarify things because, a little bit of clarification can clear up a whole lot of misunderstanding and keep me the hell out of trouble. Um, so we're gonna get in now, audio warning for those of you who are sensitive, to tonal qualities. I am sure that the clerk in this trial, the court clerk, is a lovely woman, but she sounds like the 4th lost Bee Gee, and, if you are easily triggered by falsetto, maybe just tone down your earbuds just a bit.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have the matter of Commonwealth versus LindsayClancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington, and the Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
Hi, good morning, counsel.
Morning.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Clancy. All right, before we get started, can I see counsel at sidebar briefly?
And we are off to sidebar. Again, I have said it before in trials, and I will probably say it many times during this particular trial, but I distinctly dislike law and crime and court TV and their sort of voyeuristic tendency to either zoom in on either the defendant or the victim's family members in the gallery. I It's so ick to me, and it comes from a personal desire to never be photographed when I'm out of control or deeply processing emotions. It's such a private thing. Um, it's just ick. Court TV, law and crime, we don't wanna see this. Your viewing audience really gets the icks about this. And look, I'm not telling you how to do your job. I mean, y'all have the cameras, but I can tell you we could do with about 99% less of the voyeuristic emotional voyeurism.
Yeah, that's the final.
Okay, are we just having mosey time? This is worse than a Georgia court. Asking for a friend, could we possibly warn people that three things that sound like force multipliers going off are going to start the trial? I'm just saying, if you live in rural Indiana, that noise means something effing different. And right after the damn clerk's audio assault on us anyways, again, I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but have you ever thought about deepening your voice an octave or 12?
Hear ye, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable William Sullivan, Justice of the Superior Court now sitting in Plymouth, within four the Commonwealth. Draw near and give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have the continuation of the jury trial in the matter of Commonwealth versus LindsayClancy. Ms. Clancy is present, and she is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington, and the Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Well, good morning, everyone. Nice to see everyone again. So what I want to do is just kind of go through first. I'm going to ask you those couple of questions, make sure that everybody was able to follow my instructions. Then I'm going to go over today's schedule and maybe discuss a little bit about the week's schedule, so you kind of have an idea where we're going with this. So first, let me ask those questions. Excuse me. The first question: has any member of the jury read, seen, or heard anything about this case that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial as a juror in this case? No. The next question: is there any other serious matter or concern bearing on your service as a juror that anybody needs to bring to my attention at this time? All right, again, thank you for following those instructions. Now, the schedule that we're going to follow today is we're going to continue with the case with the Commonwealth's witness who was on the stand Monday. And then we're going to take today be a little bit, might be broken up a little bit. There may be a couple of breaks that we have to take during the course of that, but we'll try and keep those to a minimum. But we'll take a break at 1 o'clock, and then we'll come back this afternoon. And we'll probably go to sometime between 3 and 4. All right. Hopefully, I think tomorrow will be.
Okay, someone needs to explain this to me. I loved history. I loved learning about the Salem witch trials and all this junk. But I thought New England was settled and founded on like the puritanical work ethic. What in the hell is up with Boston or Massachusetts writ large working on like 10% of bankers' hours? I, I'm kind of confused. Like, legitimately, I thought that New England was basically populated and founded by hard ass, type A Puritans. And then, well, at least Massachusetts courts are like, it's like a Wednesday. You want to call it a quits for this week? Like, we've worked a full week in Spain. Um, it bothers the hell out of my two type A to function facet of my personality. I would rather stay till 9 o'clock and have a 3-day trial.
Pretty much the same schedule. Tomorrow's Thursday. And then Friday, we are planning to go on that view. All right. And as a judge, I can control a lot of things, but I can't control the weather. All right. And so we've checked. It looks like the weather should be fine in regards to do this, but we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow.
Again, I hate to ask a tismy question, but isn't the view inside? I mean, I understand a little bit of drizzle and where they found Lindsay was outside, but I have sensory overload and I would still be willing to, stand out in the drizzle to see where it is that this crime happened. So yeah, I'm a little confused about the weather.
But that's just in case I forget about that. That's what we're going to do. So on Friday, you may want to make sure you have a jacket with your comfortable shoes. But we'll go into that a little bit more. So that's the schedule that we anticipate for the rest of the week. So on Friday, when we do the view, we'll come back. We usually generally do that in the morning. And then we'll come back and we'll probably go to, again, probably around 3 or 4 if we can. All right. And then on Friday, I'll discuss with you the next week's schedule and kind of where we are in the timeline of this case. All right, so I'll try and keep you up to date as best I can in regards to the case. But like I said, there may be some unanticipated breaks here and there that we're going to have to take. So with that, we're going to return now to the Commonwealth's case. The Commonwealth had a witness on the stand at that time. I'm going to ask Ms. Sprague if you could recall that witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recall Patrick Clancy.
Now, I will be interested to see because I am of two minds, and I do have the likelihood on one more than the other, just based on human nature. Uh, I do wonder if we are going to see, like we did in the defense, at least with Ramos in Corey Richins, where he had this kind of like I am sporadicus moment on the first part of the trial. But then he sort of toned down and he got, he was actually one of the best attorneys on that team after he'd kind of had his I am sporadicus moment. So I do wonder if we are going to see a general setting in and toning down of the unholy Tipper Gore judgment and scorn of another woman, or if we are just going to ratchet that up full, brows in chief, level. I said what I said, and I'm going to say it again because I was right. If it is, I have a feeling we are going to see I was right, I am righteous, and this scorn is necessary regardless of public opinion, because most people tend to not take any sort of outside objective, criticism or, critique. People's response to critique, even if it is good for them, even if it would help them achieve their goal, is usually to spite the person that gives you the honest, constructive criticism or feedback and do it your own way and harder. So my gut instinct is that the state is going to continue down its path of kahuntery and triple down on that shit. Allegedly in Minecraft, you were warned it was going to be cursy.
I want you to watch the steps.
Please raise your right hand. Is all concerned with the testimony that you shall give to the court, and the jury, in the matter now pending between the Commonwealth and the defendant, the bar shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. You may have a seat.
All right, good morning, sir. All right, Ms. Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
So on Monday, I had asked you some questions about the Surface Pro that you and the defendant had in your home and had access to, and about whether you had looked at a site on suicide methods on August 22nd. If I could ask you, did you look at a site for suicide methods on August 23rd, 2022?
I don't believe so.
And I had also asked you on Monday about when you were leaving the home on the night of January 24th, 2023, your observations of Lindsay and the children. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you had testified.
This dogged determination, and again, I can't be the only person that feels discomforted and gross. In fact, because I keenly judge my perception of things on the kind of consensus to see if what I'm feeling and observing is, kind of on the bell curve or the spectra of reactions, or if it is just way off, because sometimes I am way off. And sometimes I think 99.99%. I mean, of everyone disliked this line of questioning. We know why we're here. Again, you would have thought a higher up would have said, this is not a good look. Optically, we are looking awful. we need to switch this up. You need to, soften how you're going to do this. You don't have to change your general strategy. But apparently they decided to go full muchacho, and I said what I said and doubled down again.
Testified that you observed Dawson on the couch eating, I believe you said chicken nuggets and green beans. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you recall, if you're facing the couch, where he was on the couch?
If I were facing the couch, he'd be to the right.
To the right, okay. And showing you a photograph of the living room where there are some bowls on the couch. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how the couch looked that night?
Yeah.
We could have this photo marked as the next exhibit.
All right. Any objection?
No, of course not.
That may be admitted.
My notes are legitimately this heifer just made him ID the couch from Kittles. Um, If you're new here, my notes tend to be sort of my general impressions, and if I don't like you, ad hominem baseless attacks about your character, your physical appearance, and anything and everything I don't like about you. However, it does tend to ground me when I'm looking at my notes. Like I can say just angry eyebrows, heifer cow, and it does remind me of what I was thinking at the moment. But there's a reason I don't actually upload my notes, because they would make sense to no one but me. And I don't mean that in like, "Mwahaha, I'm so incredibly genius that I have my own cryptography." No, I mean that legitimately, angry eyebrows, heifer cow would not translate to anyone but me.
Now, as you're getting ready to leave the house to head out to get the takeout, did Lindsay say anything to you?
Nothing specific that I can recall, just other than maybe goodbye.
Do you recall something about discussing something about CVS with her?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did she say about CVS?
She wanted me to pick up some stool softener for Cora.
And she hadn't mentioned that earlier in the text, correct?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So as you're leaving, she asked you to make a second or another stop while you're out. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in response to that request, did you ask her to do something?
I don't remember.
I could show you page 77, lines 23 and 24, if you could just read those to yourself.
Yeah, I told her to text it to me, which she did.
I'm sorry, so that refresh your memory and
Yep.
ask her to text it to you?
Yep.
And did she do so?
She did.
And was that at approximately 5:15 p.m. that she texted PDLX?
Sounds correct.
So your two stops then that night were going to be CVS and the 3V restaurant, correct?
Yes.
Where did you go first?
CVS.
And do you remember the route that you took to get there?
Yeah, I went out our driveway, took a right on Winter Street, and then took a left on the main road and went to CVS.
So it's a pretty direct route from your house to CVS?
Yeah.
Look at the map.
Why? Why are we taking this man through this? Why do we need to know which street? Again, bring me the claim. The tapestry of curse words that I want to profane would make Samuel L. Jackson blush right now, and I am less than 30 minutes into this live stream.
Just going to have you look at the screen, if you would, to a map. And coming into this red dot here Is that the approximate location of your home at 47 Summer Street?
Yeah.
And then looking at this pink dot here next to Big Y, is that where the CVS is located?
Yes.
And that's the CVS you went to that night?
Yes.
About how long did it take you to get there?
3 minutes.
And when you got to CVS, did you go inside?
3 minutes, y'all. This grand manipulative mastermind, this Cruella de Vil of a woman, if you believe the state, didn't decide to do this dastardly deed when her husband left her alone with the children to go to a outing for 2 hours. No, she decided to enact this because she was just, tired of momming. Despite every bit of evidence and testimony thus far being brought into the trial, though I do understand that this is only witness one, every single bit of evidence that has been brought in is that Lindsay's anxiety peaked when she would have to leave her children. Now, I'm no Mensa member, but that doesn't sound like a woman who's like, screw motherhood. I'm out of here. I'm going to Lollapalooza. Now, I'm not the brightest person in here, though I feel much smarter now. But make it make sense, Commonwealth. I know. I suddenly feel so much better than the little people. I can understand how these could go to your head. Also, I really want to say, no more wire hangers.
Yes.
Okay. And what section did you go to in CVS?
I think it was pediatrics.
If we could pull up the CVS video. I'm going to ask you to look at the video here. Is that you entering the store?
Why are we watching this man go to a CVS? He admitted to going to the pediatric section. Why are we analyzing this like the Zapruder film? Someone fucking make it make sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And that section you head to on the right, is that the pediatric medication section?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emotional punishment that he didn't again, and here's the problem and the real trap that the Commonwealth could be falling into. This very much is beginning to look like punishment. This is looking like punishment that an ex-husband, the person that would be most predisposed to want to throw Lindsay under the bus, is the one saying, no, she legitimately was struggling with something. The woman that did this, again, a person that legitimately sitting here right now, I don't know that I could forgive a person regardless of what they were struggling with in this lifetime, if they took my kids. And I don't know that I would be above wanting them to suffer to every extent that I could make them suffer. So the fact that this man went against that natural proclivity, that natural vengeance, and refused to, throw his ex-wife to the wolves, this can very much be interpreted as punishment. The defense is on record, and whether the jury knows it or not, they were basically going to stipulate to all this. And if you don't think that this firebrand of a defense attorney is not with where his very first statement and possibly only statement to this witness might be, "Hi, I'm sorry that you had to come here. We didn't want to call you. We wanted to stipulate to all this. I'm sorry for your loss. We have no further questions. Because if the defense does that, again, this starts to look vindictive. This doesn't start this again because of the absolute absence of any sort of sympathy, any sort of empathy that these two women, and again, I go back to the Commonwealth would have been better served if they had had two middle-aged, out of touch white men spouting what they did, or older men in general. They don't have to be white, but just people without uteri, because it wouldn't look as tone deaf if they'd had two people with dangly bits saying this redonkulous crap. But it sure as heck looks like an extra level of affront when you have two, in my headcanon, angry, childless cat ladies judging a mom when you have no idea. It's the same thing that pissed me off about Oprah giving parenting advice. No offense, Oprah, if you've got, like, ways to be a good interviewer advice, I'm here for it. But you've never been in the trenches to have to raise children, so how about you kindly shut the hell up and let those of us in the trenches who are just trying to survive do what we do? Sorry, side tangent. We're back to the trial.
And while you're in that section, looking for the medication, do you do something?
I called Lindsay
And why did you call Lindsay?
because what we were looking for wasn't there. The shelves were pretty empty. It was still during COVID.
It was just, I'm sorry, what?
It was during COVID, so
Okay, so, and was that call at about approximately 5:33 p.m.?
yeah.
Okay. And then, did she answer the call?
Yes.
She answered when you called her?
Actually, I think she didn't at first. She called back.
Okay. And did you receive a call back from her about a minute later at 5:34 p.m.?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And can you describe that phone call for us?
It was very brief. I just said, I think there was a generic brand, and I said, "Is this one okay?" And she said, "Yeah, that's fine."
And what was her demeanor during the call?
She was pretty quiet. It sounded like she was busy. I remember hanging up thinking she's probably in the middle of giving baths or something like that.
So it sounded.
And I do want to call attention to his demeanor, and I think that people might have gotten a wrong impression because of the way he is. And I did want to kind of take a side to this because I did see some conversation on X, and even in my own comment section, he knew all of this stuff. And look, I don't generally, grift myself, and I can only speak for myself when it comes to masking, but I can tell you I mask the most important things, the most deep and, vulnerable parts of myself to the people I love the most, the people I know that are going to worry the most. So while if you've never masked or you don't understand it, I did do a stream about it yesterday, or at least what it looks like to me, and how it can be misinterpreted, or it can really give people a false impression of what you're actually dealing with, and you are actively working. The state is in effect correct that Lindsay was being manipulative in the sense that she was masking, at least in my theory, these are my speculative theories, as an official inside cat law tuber or law adjacent tuber. Um, but I believe Lindsay was engaging in a lot of masking of a lot of her worsening symptoms, and it's not it's not confusing to me as to why people that were close to her, uh, would be unaware of how bad it was getting, or that, she was able to mimic and at least, feign, kind of normal life? Because I think that is a legitimate question if you've never been around someone who has a chronic condition or a mental health condition, or you yourself have never had to mask. It's incredibly unbelievable to think that someone could be dealing with chronic pain or, mental health issues, and you wouldn't be able to know it, because it would seem impossible. Uh, it is. It takes a lot of energy, but it's not impossible. But it is exhausting, and it only lasts so long. And I have found in my own personal experience, um, when ish hits the fan and I've been masking, it's all that much more of a Jackson Pollock uh, explosion of hurt feelings, misunderstanding, and chaos, uh, versus when I have been able to be more direct about everything that's draining my social battery, but that's not something that's easy for me to verbalize. So, not to make this about me, but I do think that's a legitimate and respectful question. How could she go through this and look normal, quote unquote? And I can only speak for myself, but I did do a stream about it yesterday. And I think it might answer some questions from someone who does it from a couple of different perspectives. Uh, and I can only speak for what masking looks like for me.
To you like she was in the middle of something?
Yeah.
And no worries.
Were you
Have
able
a
to
great
understand
day,
her when
Monty
she
Sunshine.
spoke to you?
Yeah.
And did she seem to understand what you were saying?
Yes.
And she didn't seem to have any trouble recalling why you were at CVS or what you were looking for?
That's correct.
RJ NLC. Hey Mo, honest question. I'm trying to figure out, do you think masking and bottling things up are the same thing or correlated in some way? For me, and I can only speak for me, um, from a very young age, and I don't know, no one told me this. I made these labels up, but I've always had, safe to express feelings and then bad feelings. And, being upset, being frustrated, being angry. These are all feelings that I find incredibly difficult to process and have always labeled as bad or hard to process. Um, in an effective way. Like, I can be a snarky cahoot, and that's wonderful for YouTube, but in my personal, lives, it doesn't help. But because and I'm learning this about me, because it takes me so long to process and analyze what is at the bottom of what was upsetting me, because it's never, you handed me the wrong spoon or, your breathing is too weird. It's always, you know, something else at the bottom of it, um, and it takes me a good 3 days, and Mr. Mo has learned to give me that space, uh, to let me have that silence, but when I am forced to, before I am even able to identify and verbalize in a way that makes sense to me, my feelings, what I will do in my own personal life is I will go into a fawn response. Um, it's very noticeable. I thought it looked really normal. Like, I thought I was doing a great job, peopling. Um, but I suppress every single one of my feelings. I go blank and I become a mimic. Uh, And it's really weird to watch myself do it, in real time because I know it's not helpful. I don't wanna be doing it, but it is what my body does. And I will say, "Yes, no, we will do this your way." L and I am pissed, like, I am raging pissed. I don't wanna do it your way. But I cannot figure out the way to tell you or know even right now what my way would look like. Um, so I will go directly into a fawn response, and then that will build up resentment. So as Mr. Mo and I are learning to navigate this, he is realizing that if he approaches me before I have processed all my feelings, it will lead to an explosion later because I I haven't identified all of them. I haven't figured out, I haven't processed them. So I can get to a point where I can say, "Hey, sweetie, you know what? I don't Yes, I was angry when you messed up the pizza. I had been waiting all day. I didn't realize that I had ignored my hunger cues since yesterday. I was starving. And then the fact that you couldn't, just follow my simple directions, and I'd been waiting for this pizza all day and then it came out gross. And my first desired thing to do was to throw the pizza out the window and get on the floor and kick and scream. Um, Obviously not good. So I went into like blank mode, which is where I know that that's not an appropriate response. And I don't want to hurt Mr. Mo's feelings. So if I wait and then I can go over and say, I appreciate what you tried to do for me. And I knew I wasn't going to address it properly or with kindness then. So I'm not ignoring you. I am not trying to zone out. I simply want to respond in a nice, kind way because I haven't always done that. So that's what it looks like to me, if that makes any sense.
And did you, in fact, purchase some Pedialyte at CVS?
Yes.
Did you purchase anything else while you were there?
I bought a pack of Skittles.
Just showing you a receipt here from CVS. Does this appear to be an accurate description of what was purchased?
Yeah.
We could have the CVS receipt marked as the next exhibit, please.
All right, that may be admitted.
26. And then if we could have the original CVS video marked as an exhibit and the CVS timeline, a condensed version marked as the following exhibit.
In 27 and 28.
But I guess I wanted to also comment, I kind of got on a tangent. Um, Patrick seeming to say that their life was idyllic and having that seem incongruous, to, what was said in the civil suit. I thought about it last night, because things that don't make sense, tend to kind of, you know, get my brain just going. And the only thing I can say is if I put myself in his position, any point in my life where my children were around is going to be idyllic compared to now. And I'm not going to want to focus on all the struggles. I'm not going to want to focus on the pain and, you know, all of the things and having my wife turn into someone I didn't know and then do this monstrous thing. So in a way, yes, his life looked idyllic. And in the way he was perceiving, and again, if my theory about Lindsay masking is correct, her deeper, darker struggles are something she didn't share. The fact that she shared that she was having auditory or intrusive thoughts of hurting the children was incredibly brave. As a masker, I can tell you that's not something, the very, very deep, dark, tempting voices that are such liars, are not the truth. The fact that they can even for an iota of a second sound 1% more or seductive at all is terrifying. And you don't want to worry your spouse. So I'll give the state this. Yes, in a sense, Lindsay was incredibly manipulative. but it's not manipulation in the way that the state is saying. It is survival.
Yeah, the original mark is 27, and the timeline is 28, please.
And I do wish that witnesses, I have made a case for therapy dogs to be allowed for witnesses, or small. Everyone stims to some extent or not, whether you're neurospicy or not. We all have things that, just coping things or, self-soothing that make us feel better. And God, I wish he could just hold a puppy or a kitten.
It's 26, 27, and 28 is the mark.
All right, thank you.
After you had made your purchases at CVS, where did you go next?
To 3V.
And do you remember the route you took to get there?
Yeah, I think I got on Route 3 South for just one exit, and then I got off and went straight to 3V.
And showing you the map.
Okay, here's the other logic rift in the state's narrative. Now, I get what they're saying, that this wasn't a usual haunt or a place that they would generally eat at in a, takeout capacity. But the way the state started the opening statement, I mean, you imagine Lindsay over here like, okay, so I'm going to need you to go to the bougie Target across town, down the street on the other side of the tracks. Okay, I'm gonna need you to take your, bougie day pass out past the checkpoint, and that's going to take you approximately 2 hours. This restaurant was 8 minutes away. Again, I understand that it was not a usual place, that, this was further than they would generally go for their takeout wanderings. But you're telling me that this was her grand plan, 8 minutes away, not, and I hate to sound crass about this, but not the multiple other times that he had left her alone for long periods, with meetings with friends, things that are going to take at least multiple hours. This woman, the state claims, was manipulative, was calculating, was planning, was Letitia-like in her cunning. And yet her big pinky in the brain plan was to send her husband 8 minutes away.
Again, here on the screen, this green dot here on the bottom, is that where 3V restaurant is located?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. No need to stare at my face.
Your Honor, I'd move to submit a copy, a digital copy of the map. We have it on the computer. I can make a hard copy.
All right, that may be admitted.
We can use empty case as a marker. Is it 29?
All right, thank you.
We could pull up the 3D video, please. Now, sir, how long approximately did it take you to get from CVS to 3V?
Probably around 10 minutes.
And when you got to the 3V restaurant, did you go inside?
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you to watch the video on the screen. At 5:54:15 p.m., is that you coming in behind that other couple there?
Yeah.
And just what a unique kind of torture. Again, to be confronted with the you that has no idea, the you that left a house that was perfectly fine. There are so many layers of cruelty to this, it's almost hard to unpeel. I mean, the Shrek-like onion of cruelty that the Commonwealth is doing on so many levels, it would almost take me days to just go over the not just the surface cruelty, but the every little nuance of cruelty that's at play here.
And what are you doing at that point when you're looking at the bags?
I think I was looking for the bag with my name on it.
And here's the thing the state doesn't get, that if the A had only played this video and said, "Is this the video of you at the store?" The emotional depth in this, the fact that we as the jurors, as the audience, and I tend to extrapolate things into plots and Hollywood movies, just for my own sanity. But the fact that we as the viewers and Patrick knows, but this man doesn't know what is awaiting him, what we are going to hear in the next couple minutes is so poignant and heartbreaking without you having to be an absolute cahoon, that if you just had let this sit here, most emotionally competent adults would take in the ramifications of what this man is about to confront. And whether they process it on a conscious or subconscious level, it it is so much more powerful than this grotesque parade of every happy moment that this man has to live through. Had they been sparing, had they shown this, and or had they just not brought him up at all, but strategically, had they shown this, had they let this speak for itself about the dividing line, the before, the profound loss that is going to happen to this man just moments from now, then it would have so much more impact and it wouldn't feel like emotional voyeurism, because we all know what happens and we can all place ourselves in that moment, because we've all had moments in our lives where we are not the same person after we hear a phone call or we hear the news, or we lost a friend or a loved one or something big happens. We've all felt that and we can empathize, and it makes it so much more poignant because we know the enormity of what this man right on screen is going to be put through in the next few seconds. And then we see the man barely surviving on the stand. Less is more. You do not have to wring our souls. Steven Spielberg, for technical reasons, didn't show Jaws or the shark in Jaws all that much, and it was so much more scary because your brain added so much more. Your brain is more terrifying than any monster, any reality. And leaving us to interpret this ourselves and attach emotion would have been so much more powerful and so much more respectful than what they are doing right now. Even if I disagree with it, this would have been a better strategy, in my personal opinion.
Do you recall what you're doing on your phone at that time?
I don't. It could be work related, could be anything.
And the order that was listed under your name and phone number, correct?
I think Lindsay ordered it.
Right, but do you recall whose name it was under when you picked it up?
I don't recall specifically, but it could have been mine.
Show you a receipt here from 3D Restaurant for Mediterranean Powerball and Scallop and Pork Belly Risotto. You could just look at the name and the number on the receipt.
Yeah, that's my name and my number.
So that's your phone number?
Yeah.
Okay. So although the defendant called in the order, your name and phone number were given and were given accurately, is that correct?
Correct.
If we could have the 3V video, Mark, as the next.
Okay, no, we're going on a tangent because I really need to go on a rant. What exactly do mental health issues preclude you from, Commonwealth? As a person who's dealt with, mental health stuff all my life, what were the things that I wasn't supposed to be able to do? Tie my shoes, function as a parent. What were the things that were supposed to be the glowing red sign that I have something wrong with me? What are the things that we have to telegraph to you to show that we have a disability or mental health issue? What is your criteria so that we know, so there's no more Lindsays? What do we have to telegraph to you to get some attention? Do we need to sit in a room and drool? What in the 1950s fuckery, stereotypical, and we wonder why women continue to mask and don't get help. Well, she was able to tie her shoes. She was obviously faking. Has she ever thought about just, not being such a control freak? It's just that she's too type A and hypersensitive, and, it was just that she had anxiety. Now, you would think that as a lawyer, and you realize that the defense is going to use mental health, that you would maybe do cursory research about how women present with mental health issues, that they tend to be internal regulators, that they tend to present as incredibly high functioning, as highly strung, as anxious, as type A, as perfectionist. It doesn't come out generally as crying in a corner listening to Adele with the, lights off. It can, but it doesn't generally look like that. Because girls, young women are acculturated to hide their negative emotions or their not socially acceptable emotions or their cries for help. Again, they're told they're too sensitive, that they need to learn self-control, that this is not a big deal to other people. So again, the fact that you didn't do even the bare minimum Dr. fucking Phil research beyond the stereotypes of mental health, and then you want to condemn a woman on a subject that you are bereft of knowledge about, it is audacious to say the least. Are you related to Jess Machado? Asking for legitimately a mo, because I need something to make sense here.
Exhibit.
Sure. That may be admitted. Yeah. Can I see counsel just very briefly?
Sorry.
Picking up the order at 3V, where did you go next?
Home.
And do you recall the route you took home?
Probably the same route, one exit on the highway, and then went home.
Okay. Do you recall approximately how long it took you to get home?
I would guess 10 to 12 minutes.
When you arrived home, where did you park?
In the driveway.
What type of car did you drive then?
A Chevy Silverado.
And was that a white pickup truck?
Yeah.
What kind of car did Lindsay drive then?
It was a Kia SUV.
And once you parked there, were both vehicles now in the driveway?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a series of photographs of the exterior of your home. You could just look through them and tell me if they accurately reflect how your home looked on January 24th, 2023.
Now, this is the point. Patrick is being very good because when I have figured out that you are being look, I have very few things that legitimately are no-goes. I tend to try to meet every human where they are. But being a snarky, insufferable, and unsympathetic, unmerciful cahoot, this is where I start answering stupid questions with stupid answers, regardless of being on record. I'm going to show you photographic evidence of my house. I'll attempt to see if they purport to my remembrance. Yeah, yeah. I don't do well when you come in bad faith and I see it. I don't appreciate that because I work and so many people work fuck ton hard to be kind, considerate, and, you know, communicate in a world that doesn't always make sense to us in a way that is kind, gentle, and, direct. Because we can be assholes if you won't.
Yeah, these are accurate.
You could have these photographs of the exterior of the home, front and back, marked sequentially as exhibits.
They may be admitted. Thank you.
It's 32 through 37, no, 38, so high. Sir, showing you what's been marked as exhibit 32. Is this the front of your house with the main door?
Yes.
And then showing you what's been marked as exhibit 33. Where is this in relation to that main front door?
It's to the right.
And here where the light is that a secondary entrance at the front of the house?
Yes.
And for the record, that's to the left of the garage.
Yeah.
Showing you exhibit 34. Can you tell us what portion of the house this is?
It's to the left of the front door.
So if I'm facing the front door, it's to the left, there's a fence there, is that correct? And exhibit 35, is that more of that same fence on the left?
Yes.
And then showing you exhibit 36, is this looking at your backyard from that left side area where the fence is?
Yeah.
And then exhibit 37, can you tell us what we're seeing here?
I say this, and if you're new to my streaming universe, you may not know this about me. And again, it is part of my past, but feelings and stuff, I don't bring it up typically. But as a person who lost her first husband to drug addiction, substance abuse, whatever we call it now, I have not been back in that town willingly since the day we had his memorial. It's just too hard. Um, I don't know if I'll ever be ready to go back there and see the town. It's a lovely town. and I know lovely people there, but I have not willingly, without a damned good reason, gone back there. Um, and it's just incredibly hard having to watch someone who went through something orders of magnitude, worse than I did, or maybe just different, um, because pain is pain is pain. Have to be bombarded by this. It's a particular kind of hell that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, and it does seem that and I hope that this is ignorance on the Commonwealth, and what I mean by that is I hope that they have never lost someone close to them and haven't gone through grief and don't understand it and are ignorant of the hell that it is, and how just seeing a picture or being in the same town or different things can bring it all back like a tsunami. And it this is incredibly torturous, like I said, on so many different levels. And oh, and congratulations, Patty LaBelle. I am so glad when I hear about people that beat their substance abuse addictions, because I've seen firsthand how hard it is, and not everyone makes it through.
This is the back of the house and the window where Lindsay jumped out.
And Exhibit 38, is that a more direct view of that back of the house?
Yeah.
And so the window you referenced about Lindsay, is it this upper right top window?
Yeah.
And what is behind that window?
Our bedroom.
And the window to the left there in the middle, what room is that window in?
That's the upstairs bathroom.
And then the top window on the far left, what room is that for?
That was Dawson's bedroom.
Dawson's. Okay. And then directly below the top right window, so the bottom far right window, what room is that window for?
The living room.
And then again, the middle window on the bottom level.
Downstairs bathroom.
And then that window on the far left there, is that the kitchen?
Yeah.
And on the far left of the photo where the sliding glass doors are, where does that lead into?
There's like a room off of the kitchen where there's a kitchen table.
And thanks, the modeling underdog. You're good. There are parts of my city I don't go to for similar reasons. Um, you know, in case you need to hear this, if there are places you don't go for your own mental health, you're not a bad person. It took me a long time to forgive myself for not being able to go back and do a lot of things. But we have to survive this life.
When you got home and you parked your truck, how did you get into the home?
I went in through that side door.
The door that was to the left of the garage?
Yeah.
And what did you do once you got inside the home?
I started taking my boots off.
And did you have some bags with you from CVS and 3V?
Yeah.
Where did you place those?
On the kitchen island.
Show you a couple photos of that area where you came in. Just tell us if it accurately represents how they looked, that area looked on January 24th, please.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Could have these two.
And Twaddlebum, I tend to become incredibly stoic. I can look like I absolutely do not have feelings. I become very problem solving. So Uh, and I call it kind of going into grasshopper manager mode. And absolutely, Jinx Rockstar. Actually, we are going to take a little bit longer because 6 children does not a strong bladder make. So if you need to go use the restroom, we are taking a moxie break. So that's about 2 minutes ish, 10 minutes or 10 seconds under. So you guys can get something to drink or an emotional support snack, and I'm going to go use the restroom.
I take it down. Woo! Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I take it down a minute and a half. Yeah. When the dark gets long and the tea is hot, and the motions filed are quite a lot. When the state says boom and defense says pass, that's when I call my mini ass so classy and sass. Woo! Oh, Moxie, the emotional support mini donkey, tiny but mighty, a courtroom honky tonky. If the trial goes sideways, she don't panic or balk, just a soft little hee-haw and a judgmental walk. Clip clop, trotting through the mess. Ears perked high and unutterable distress. When the facts get wild and the lawyers get snarky, I lean on my emotional support. If a witness says I can't recall, she side-eyes gently from the stall. If the sidebar lasts all afternoon, she hums a brave and slightly off tune. She's pocket-sized but bold of heart, a fluffy illegal work of art. From board down woes to verdict day, she snacks on hay and leads the way. Oh, Moxie, queen of the pasture class, small but ruling the law to grasp. When the timeline spirals and things get funky, there's peace in a steadfast mini donkey. Clip clop, courage, fluffy and spunky. All hail the emotional support as Moxie. Oh.
Oh, and thank you, JKD Buck. Court did an hour recess, then immediately another 5, then 2 quick witnesses, and the judge recessed during the second witness. What we will probably do is get through those 2 short witnesses, and then we might endeavor to start a little earlier tomorrow. Um, being kind to ourselves means that I am we we don't have to do it all in one day. Um, Now that being said, if I feel froggy, I'll come back this afternoon at 2, but I don't foresee myself doing that at the moment. Um, so I would say that we will probably get through, the, 2 quick witnesses, but then, again, to respect Patrick and everything sometimes, and I may pull up the clip, but it might be my favorite, new motto that I'm trying to learn. And again, I realize I shouldn't have, heart-to-heart Jerry Springer final thought moments with cat ears and eyebrows. Because when I get to look at myself, I'm like, "No more wire hangers." Um, Back to emotional depth. There's something that, Mr. Rogers says, uh, and it is profoundly necessary, right now. We live in an incredibly noisy world, and here I'm paraphrasing, and we don't learn how to respect the silences. And sometimes things deserve and respect the time it takes to process, the emotions. Sometimes things are big, and to give them the dignity and respect they deserve, we need to sit in some silence and feel them and deal with them. And they're not easy feelings, they're not comfortable feelings. I would much rather deal with rage and mockery than deep down sorrow that this family, however this becomes adjudicated, whatever the jury, decides, this family's been destroyed. And that destruction deserves silence and respect because it was so devastating. So that's probably what we're going to do. And, take wisdom from really smart people, and honest to God, who could be smarter than Mr. Rogers? So we will be respecting the silence probably after the last two quick witnesses.
Photos marked as the next.
They may be minute.
Exhibits 39 and 40. So we're showing you what's been marked as exhibit 39. Can you tell us where the sliding glass doors are in this photograph?
They're to the left of the kitchen table.
So we have here the kitchen table, and kind of in the center of the photograph, is that correct?
Yeah.
And so these are the sliding glass doors?
Yeah.
And where's the door that you came through?
To the right after the kitchen table.
Right here, next to the curtain?
Yeah.
And the door, when you're looking at the photo straight ahead, this door to the left of the mirror or the photo there, where does that lead?
The garage.
And then showing you exhibit 40. Is that where you place the bags on the island in the kitchen?
Yeah.
When you came into the house and you were taking off your boots and putting things down, was there anything you noticed?
Yeah, the house was really quiet.
Is that unusual?
Yeah.
And when you realized it was really quiet, what did you do?
I called out.
And who did you call out to?
Everyone.
Did anyone answer?
No.
After you called out and no one answered, what did you do next?
I think
Now, we are almost a good hour in, and I have been waiting for any kind of tonal change, even a sort of pause or even a slight bit of emotional empathy toward Patrick, and there has been nothing. She has the same monotone delivery. She has the same uninterested delivery. You would think if this man is being forced to prove all of these basic points for your case, that you would be interested. I mean, at least Kathy Nestor, her tonal quality indicates that she is interested in the answer. This lawyer, her tone indicates that she knows that this is there just to punish him. She's not interested in the answer because she doesn't need it. She just needs him to suffer, in my opinion. And look, I done told y'all I don't like the Commonwealth. I will read for filth. Look, I am reading things in bad faith, but with a large amount of 42 years of studying human behavior and realizing that not everyone is a good person.
I don't know the order, but I called down in the basement and no one answered. And then I called Lindsay to see if she was home because I looked out and I couldn't see her car, but it's because it was dark and her car's black.
Okay, so when you say you called down to the basement, when you approached the basement door, do you remember if it was open or shut?
It was shut.
So did you open it and yell down?
Yeah.
And there was no response?
Correct.
And showing you a photo here, is that a fair and accurate depiction of the stairway down to the basement level?
Yeah.
We could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 41. Do you recall when you opened the door to yell down whether the
Treasurer Eileen, I understand where they're trying to go, but there is a way that you can advance this somewhat ludicrous theory, in my opinion. But again, I don't have to like your theory. I don't have to appreciate it, but it does have to work by some internal logic. And you would think that you would have to understand that in a uniquely emotional case like this, you do not want to be seen to be picking on the victim. Oh, sorry, Treasure. Thought you were talking to me. No problem. I just enjoy pontificating, especially with these eyebrows. I feel so much smarter and better.
Light was on or off?
Yeah, it was on, but Lindsay always left the light on.
And you said you called Lindsay. Was that a phone call?
Yeah,
And was that at approximately 6:09 p.m.?
yeah,
And did she answer?
no.
After calling down the stairs to the basement, did you leave the door open or did you close it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I would think I closed it because I always try to keep it closed. I'm not sure.
And you guys, you don't have to stick with us. Remember, you guys are in control and have the pause button. And just like I said about Jaws, it's not weakness if you don't or cannot handle the full story. We know the facts at the bottom of this case. And you can just, say that you've stipulated and come back another day. I never want you to give me a view or continue watching something that's going to be rough or put you in a bad place. So if you have to take a break, if you have to, turn off the stream entirely, do what's right for you.
Okay. And so after you called Lindsay and didn't get a response, what did you do next?
I started checking upstairs.
And where did you check upstairs?
First, the bathroom. I thought maybe they were taking baths, but there's no one there.
And then where did you go?
The kids' bedrooms.
Was there anyone in the kids' bedrooms?
No.
And then did you go to your bedroom?
Yeah.
And were you able to get into your bedroom right away?
No, the door was locked, and that's when I knew something was wrong.
And when you realized the door was locked, did you have a way to unlock it?
Yeah, the previous owners, when they installed the doorknobs, had these these little keys that they taped to the back of each door. So I got the one from Cora's room, and I started unlocking the knob.
Okay. And when you unlocked the door to your bedroom, did you go in?
Yeah.
And what did you see when you opened the door and went in?
I just saw blood everywhere, and the window is open.
And showing you here a photo, is this the bed in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Now, the way the bed is in this photo, kind of pulled away from the wall and slightly askew or at an angle, is that the way it was typically?
No.
And when you left the bedroom that day for the last time prior to coming home later that night, was the bed in that position?
I don't think so.
Could have this photo, nurse, just the next
It may be admitted.
Exhibit 42. And you said you saw the window, is that correct?
Yeah.
Was it open?
Yeah, there was wind blowing in.
Showing you a photo here. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how the window looked?
Yeah.
Mark, what's the next exhibit, please?
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 43. Did you walk into the room and over to the window?
No.
How far into the room did you get?
Probably 1 or 2 steps, and then I immediately turned around and went outside.
And the blood that you saw, where was that located in the room?
It was everywhere. It was, it looked like it was sprayed almost with like a.
Also, there are reams of not only neuroscience, data that has actually tracked brain function in progress, but many social sciences that have actually determined that the biochemicals needed, the neurotransmitters needed to accurately record memories. There are a very distinct pattern that our mind needs to accurately record memories. And in times of heightened stress and, you know, or epinephrine, or not adrenaline, those particular neurotransmitters do not work in the proper way. So his perception is probably never going to match reality. It is going to be incredibly real to him. Um, but again, making this man go through his own hell when we know it has been established long in science that the neurotransmitters needed to accurately record memories are not bioavailable in the brain during times of high stress. So whatever he remembers is going to be so incredibly subjective and not accurate. It even to the inaccuracy that is inherent in normal everyday eyewitness testimony. His is going to be extra inaccurate, not because he wants to lie, not because he is trying to, but because his body physically could not accurately record the memory. And to make him walk through this when we know this is gross.
Hose, and there was a huge puddle in the middle of the room, and it was sprayed all over pretty much every surface. I remember it was on the doorknob.
Okay. Showing you 3 photos. Do you recognize what's depicted there? And is that a fair and accurate depiction of how the room looked on January 24th, 2023?
Also, Heifer, did you do your own damn highlights? Okay, I know it's gonna be ridiculous, but if you're gonna do your own damn highlights, you need to get a frosting cap, because that is really the only way, unless you are willing to do your own foils at home, that this is gonna work. But that is and did you use any purple shampoo? Were you trying to get a blonde, or were you going for orange and brassy?
Yeah.
We could have these photos, 3 photos marked as the next 3 exhibits.
They may be admitted.
So they're showing you what's been marked exhibit 44. Is this the entrance to the room, looking into the room?
Yeah.
And then exhibit 45, is this mirror to the right of that bureau we were just looking at?
Yep.
And this area right here, is this the blood you were referring to?
Yeah, that's some of the blood.
And then in exhibit 46, is that getting closer to the window?
Yeah.
And is that more of the blood that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Going back to exhibit 42, there's no blood on the walls or on the bedding, correct?
On those walls and the bedding, correct.
Words, do words. You brought us here, lady. Do something.
Sir, were you aware that the defendant's phone was found on the bed in the bedroom that night?
No.
Ma'am, unless your next words or the next exhibit you have is a goddamn, like, screenshot with Lindsay basically in full block letter said, "I done did it. I did it all. It was plotted. I plotted it all." Imma need you to sit the hell down and shut the hell up. Kindly, for the sake of humanity and my hope in a forward benevolent future for humanity. All right. Welcome to a new section. There are a few things that I find more upsetting than if you are going to be willfully ignorant and ill prepared. So, kindly, Kahuntasaurus, before tomorrow, could you organize all your binders in a lessee fashion so we don't have to suffer your ineptitude for minutes on end? Because it just reminds me how much I dislike you and how much of an incompetent ass I think you are. And really, you don't want me to be in that headspace because I am coming up with more fun ways, and I'm pretty sure I have a wig and an ungodly, ill fitting suit that I can have. So literally, you are only giving me time to think of ways to mock you. Now, I'm not telling you what to do with your time or to be more prepared. I'm not your mom, not your boss, not your supervisor. But I do want you to have the full knowledge that you are giving me much more time to think of more ridiculous ways to mock you. Just thought I'd let you know that, Commonwealth, you have been warned.
They're showing you this phone with this light brown case. Do you recognize this?
Yes,
Whose phone is it?
that was Lindsay's phone.
And is this the phone that she was consistently using between September of 2022 and, well, actually August of 2022 throughout the fall and into January of 2023?
Yeah.
We have this marked as an activity.
That may be admitted.
47. Sir, after making those observations in the bedroom, what did you do next?
I ran downstairs and went outside.
And do you recall whether you came around, whether you went out the front door or the back door?
I went out the back door.
So that would be the sliders, is that right?
Yeah.
And where did you go from there?
I just looked around in the backyard below that window and I saw Lindsay.
And where did you see her?
She was face up in the backyard.
And where in the backyard was she?
At the bottom of the window.
And so, looking at exhibit 38. You said this was the window, correct, the top right?
Correct.
Where was she in relation to that window?
Directly below it.
So down here by the window well?
Yeah.
For the record, I was pointing straight below the bottom right window by the window well. I'll show you a photo of that window you were referring to. Is this the exterior view of that window to your bedroom that night?
Yeah.
We could have this marked as an activity.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 48. Showing you exhibit 48. So the window's open, correct?
Yes.
And the screen for the window is up, correct?
Yeah.
At any point in time that night or afterwards, did you notice that the screen was cut or broken in any way?
I didn't notice that, no.
Stinger Bell, which she? If you mean Lindsay, yes, she is in the courtroom. Uh, if you're talking about another she, I'm not sure. If you type in the chat, I can possibly tell you.
And when you saw Lindsay on the ground there under the window, which direction was her body facing?
Her head was closer to the house. Her feet were away from the house.
Okay. And did you go to her?
Yeah.
And did you observe any injuries?
Yes.
And what did you see?
She had deep cuts.
Yes, she is in the courtroom. And thank you, Tammy. I'm doing okay, but we are probably going to end early. We will not be doing the, they're coming back at 2 and possibly ending at 3. And I think we're going to do the last 2 little witnesses after Patrick, but I would like to honor that this man's bravery. You know, we talk a lot about masculinity and what's toxic and what's positive, and the ability to stand up to a government that is trying to punish you for a person who wronged you so profoundly, that's bravery and masculinity, knowing that the state is going to put you through absolute hell and wanted to put your most raw, vulnerable 911 moment out for everyone in a sundry to see, along with photos of your no longer living children. Sometimes we don't notice bravery for what it is, because sometimes bravery is getting up every morning and having to realize a reality that you never wanted, that you never asked for, that you've been asked to carry for the rest of your life. And waking up every morning and getting up and stepping through the day and getting through, you know, the next minute, the next hour, the next second. But by God, this man is brave, in my opinion.
On her wrists, and she had a red line across her neck. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but she cut her neck.
And do you recall that these wounds weren't actively bleeding at the time?
I later learned that I said that on the 911 call.
And when you observed these wounds, is it correct that the 911 operator asked you or instructed you to apply pressure if needed?
Things.
I don't recall the whole call, but I believe that's probably true.
Okay. And you didn't at the time feel the need to apply pressure to any of those wounds, correct?
Correct.
Did you say anything to Lindsay when you found her in that state?
Yeah, I said, what happened?
And what was her response?
She said I tried to kill myself.
Did you ask her anything else?
I said, where are the kids?
And what was her response?
She said they're in the basement.
And at that time, she didn't tell you that they needed help or they were in danger or they were injured, correct?
Correct.
And so you mentioned talking to someone on 911. At what point did you call 911?
I don't know the exact time, but it took a few minutes because my phone was switching between Wi-Fi and 911. So I almost just started calling out for the neighbors, but eventually it went through.
Okay. So you had some difficulty connecting, but eventually you connected to the 911 operator?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you stay on the phone with them while they were sending people to respond?
Yeah.
Okay. While you're on the phone with 911, are they asking you questions and you're responding with information about her condition?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you could just look at the screen here, is this the model of the first floor of your home?
Yes.
Okay. And so we have here the sliding glass doors. Where would the basement door be?
Of all the banal, trite, ridiculous resource waste of a fucking farce. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, state? We have to now, this man now has to go through the Oregon Trail 3D model of his house. This is not complex. This is not the Idaho 4 house that looked kind of Rube Goldbergy, Rube Goldbergy and weird, and it had a weird internal structure. We do not need this. How much money was spent on this? I mean, again, I'm not from Massachusetts. I mean, I would think if as a taxpayer, regardless of where you line up on this case, if I find out that the defense was willing to stipulate and we paid God knows how much for this 1994 Sega Genesis graphics, Imma be pissed the fuck off. You already paid $300K for some guy with blue paint and the faintest, foggiest connection to math and physics. I mean, you could have had me use blue paint. I know about as much as about math and physics as Judson Welcher. Sorry, that was just a little bit out of body, but I am getting tired of this.
In this model?
Directly below the stairs.
So now that it's flipped around, is this the door to the basement right here?
Jesus wept, lady. I'm so glad you spent 100,000K or whatever the fuck you spent on this. I'm glad you got to spin it around. But you know what's amazing? I know you're going to be shocked about this, but the man lived in this house. So he doesn't need to orient himself. And those of us who are not mentally subnormal don't need to do this. Swear to God, when did we start dropping everything down to the lowest common core denominator? If I were on the jury, I'd be pissed off at this point. The fact that you are treating me like I am mentally subnormal, like I have the intelligence quotient of Sling Blade. I think that between photographs, your stupid Atari mock-up, and the goddamn fact that they're going to do a fucking field trip, we don't need this shit.
Here?
Yeah.
For the record, that's the door across from the downstairs bathroom?
Yeah.
And I do apologize. I try not to curse. I want to be respectful of the victims and the family. in this case, and I never wanted it interpreted as disrespect to the underlying horror that this case represents. But the Commonwealth is treating us with disrespect, this case with disrespect, and every single person with disrespect.
And then, how long approximately, and I know you weren't looking at your watch or anything like that, but can you estimate for us how long it took for first responders to arrive?
4 or 5 minutes.
Okay. And during that time, are you continuing to try to talk to Lindsay?
Yeah.
Is she responding?
She was in and out of consciousness.
Okay. Was she breathing on her own?
I believe so.
Okay. And you're communicating information to the 911 operators, and are they giving you, advice on how to deal with the situation as it progresses?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Once emergency personnel arrive, what do?
I immediately got up and ran to the basement.
Okay. And do you still have the phone on you? You're still on the 911 call?
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but I did.
Okay. And have you look at this model here on the screen? Is this a fair and accurate depiction of the setup of your basement?
Yeah.
Okay. If you can just describe the rooms for us, what the purpose of each room was.
So the room in the back left was my office. The room with the black rubber mat is the gym. And then there's the living room to the right of that.
I have never said this more forcefully in my entire life. So listen up, Commonwealth. As a party tangentially, in the understanding of we the people as a collective, not united, jury of her peers, meaning humanity. I would like to formally and vociferously. I would like to formally and vociferously remove my cosign as the party, the people, the representatives through whom you bring this case. I do not myself, Mo in the deep end, want to be co-signed to this pathetic whatever it is that is calling itself a prosecution. This was not the justice system I co-signed and I have participated in not only for 4 years as a content creator / weirdo nerd who likes trials, but a person who has, not only performed jury duty, but was a foreperson on said jury. So I would like to formally renounce whatever co-signing and in my name that you are trying to seek, whatever you are calling this amalgamation of or of sadism that you're leading us through right now. But I have never felt more passionately that this is not the justice system I believe in. And I kindly would like you to, have to be formally demanded to say the people who would like to be excused, in the definition of the state or, humanity by which you are, our avatar for bringing justice.
And then the back right is just an area of the living room, and then there's a bathroom next to that.
So when you come down those stairs that night, which direction did you go?
I immediately went left.
And when you went left, what did you see?
I saw Cora.
JKD Buck, we are getting to this man being forced to relive the worst moments in his life, and the state being so proud that they paid for a 3D graphic. So basically, continued emotional torture because the man refused to throw his wife or ex-wife under the bus. So nothing new.
And how did she look?
She had a band around her neck.
And was that an exercise band?
Yeah.
And do you recall whether she was, what position she was in, whether face up or face down?
She's face down.
And when you saw her in that condition, what did you do?
I immediately ran over and tried to take the band off.
Were you able to get the band off?
Yeah.
And do you recall how you got the band off?
I think I untied it.
And when you say untied it, was it in a knot?
Jesus. Just Jesus. Why? Why does this man have to go through this?
That you had to, put everything down and unknot it, or how was it tied?
I'm not sure I fully remember.
Do you recall describing it previously as when you initially tie your shoes, but then don't do the bow?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And was she responsive?
No.
And what did you see or do next?
JR, they are actually a part of I need to take a minute. So we're going to talk about my eyebrows and fake mustaches. They actually came in Amazon Prime, and for reasons I don't know, but when I was 5, I so very much wanted a Snidely Whiplash mustache. And I did not realize that the kit came with eyebrows. And I didn't realize that they were necessary to be a real true crime, trial coverer. But I do feel more authoritative. Because I was looking at different mustaches. I decided today that I was not going to give the Commonwealth any respect. I do not want uh, my I just wanted to roast them. Basically, I don't co-sign this man having to be on the stand. I am doing this against my will, and I will read them for filth at every minute. So I was going through mustaches. I kind of feel like I'm auditioning for Kill Bill or a really weird anime. Um, and then this one does go with my coloring, but I also feel like, brother. I'm feeling very Hulk Hogan, but also like I'm not allowed to be near schools, which is creepy. But, if I had a tank top. So I also have soul patches. I mean, this would be how I deal with, this sucks all around. This sucks all around, and it's one of the worst things I've ever seen in a courtroom, and to avoid dealing with the magnitude of suck that it is, I decided to find eyebrows to make fun of, not only, Culotta, but, what's her face? THC Crime? No, that's my brain. I always think it's THC Crime, but it's, Hidden True Crime. I don't know. I wanted to be part of the cool club, and I thought that this was how, we were supposed to be serious reporters. Um, and I'm a little bit of an ass, but I use my blunt, sarcastic asshole powers on jerk faces. I use them for good, or at least gray. On the Jedi scale, I'd be a gray Jedi, or possibly Mace Windu because he had a purple lightsaber. But I digress. We have dopamine and ADHD tangent for a bit. I hope we've all got a chance to catch our breath. Let's soldier through. Let's honor this man's. I don't know who said it. Maybe I said it or someone else said it, but in my life, one of the greatest gifts that anyone has ever given to me is sitting with me when I'm going through hell and not expecting me to talk or regulate or pretend that I'm okay, and sitting there in the not okay with me. So we're going to sit in the not okay with Patrick because it's all we can do. Um, and God, I know he's probably not going to watch this stream, but I hope he knows that there are a bunch of people sitting with him doing the only thing we can, which is sitting with him through this hell and feeling it with him.
I saw Callan.
And where was he?
He was next to her.
And how did he appear?
He had a band around his neck.
Sorry?
He had a band around his neck.
And did you remove that as well?
Yeah,
And do you recall what position he was in?
same as Cora.
And looking at the model here, if you could just tell us, where was Cora?
The left of the couch.
So would that be this area here that I'm pointing to in between the bureau and the couch?
Yeah,
And where was Callan?
to her left.
So would that be more over here towards the chair and the bureau?
Yeah.
After you removed the band from Callan's neck, what did you do next?
I tried to find Dawson.
And where did you go?
I looked in the bathroom and on the other side of the couch. And then I went to the other side of the basement and he was in my office.
And when you saw Dawson, what condition was he in?
I knew he was gone.
And did he also have a band around his neck?
Yeah.
And did you remove that band?
Yeah.
And looking at the office here, where was he located within the office?
Just to the left of the door when you went in.
We can do that. I was actually, if you don't mind, I like the unfiltered vibe, the kind of Rush-like vibe of it. So I will play Moxie, but I am going to also play the unfiltered rant session. Shizzy made kind of Rush kind of music for me, and it seems to center me. So I will play both because we need it.
When the dark gets long and the tea is hot, and the motions filed are quite a lot, when the state says boom and defense says pass, that's when I call my mini ass so classy and sass. Woo! Oh, Moxie, the emotional afternoon. She hums a brave and slightly off tune. She's pocket-sized but bold of heart, a fluffy illegal work of art. From board down woes to verdict day, she snacks on hay and leads the way. Oh, Moxie, queen of the pasture class, small but ruling the law to grass. When the timeline spirals and takes get funky, there's peace in a steadfast mini donkey. Flip-flop courage, fluffy and spunky. All hail the emotional support as Moxie. Oh!
All right, you guys, we're going to get through this just a minute at it, as we can.
Just in this area here, right inside the door.
Yeah.
So we may approach briefly.
Yeah, please.
Okay, this is probably where.
Correctly.
Had she
Oh, how much longer are we torturing this
Now we
man?
got Griffin.
Sidebar.
He would be May 20.
the witness could be
All right,
excused.
so you can be excused, subject to recall at a later point today. Thank you, sir. All right, Commonwealth?
Your Honor, at this point, I would move to submit some evidence. First,
Ooh, can we talk female pattern balding on our lovely sister counsel from the Commonwealth, or as I like to call her, the, absolute doppelganger of a young Janet Reno in her fresh bloom of, young femininity. If one could ever associate femininity with Janet Reno, this would be the result. And yeah, that's mean. That is ad hominem, and it's making fun of what is obviously probably PCOS or a hormonal imbalance. But I am fucking done being nice to cunts.
would be the clothing Cora Clancy was wearing the night of January 24th, 2023.
I am an ass. There is a certain amount of pleasure that I take that woman will never go anywhere in the year of 2026 without someone subtly looking for an Adam's apple. If you may be pissed off today, let that thought give you comfort. Now, is it good? Is it not a bit of Schadenfreude? No. Is it like a good Christian thought? No. But if it gives you comfort, this woman goes nowhere in her life without people subtly looking for an Adam's apple.
First, the pajama pants. Pajama shirt. And then the pink robe. We could have these marked as one exhibit.
They may be admitted.
And I want to go back here and let me see here. Is that enhancer? I know I have drawn. Okay. No, I want you to move over here. Oh, no, I just want to clear one. Damn it. Oh, for the love of Cheetos. I need to, this right here. Thank you. I just call you Grandpa Attorney. I am terrible with names. I know I either want to call you Remington or Reddington, and I'm terrified that it's wrong, and I want to give you the respect that you deserve, sir. So I just call you, Angry Attorney, or the avatar of my discontent. There is, and again, I'm going to go back to Mr. Rogers. If there's one thing that evil, darkness, or whatever this is cannot stand, it is forgiveness and humanity. So regardless of what your opinions are of Lindsay, whether you feel that she is a victim or a monster, the only way we combat evil is with forgiveness and humanity.
What is that noise?
Thank you.
And then Dawson's clothing. We have dinosaur underwear for the record. And a gray t-shirt or shirt, long sleeve shirt. Have this as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
And then Helen's pajamas. As the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Yellow exercise band found with Dawson. Have this as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Black exercise band found with Cora. Grab this as the next exhibit, please.
That may.
And then the blue exercise band found with Callan. You could have this as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Fuck you from the very bottom of my soul for doing this, Commonwealth. And I would like to renew my continuing objection to be co-signed to whatever you are labeling this prosecution. Because as a part of the, not, but in the more figurative sense of a jury of her cat ass of her peers, I would like to renew my objection to be co-signed on whatever the fuck this is that the Commonwealth is doing.
Your Honor, we would ask that the 911 call be played.
All right. All right. Members of the jury, I just kind of wanted to give you,
J. Kitty Buck, Mr. Clancy Patrick was able to leave the courtroom and the gallery while the state proceeded to show us the children's clothing and the exercise bands. And while I can completely understand that these are all parts of the case, the state has to prove elements of the, crimes that they have to prove. This was all willing to be stipulated by the defense, and I have never been more disgusted in my 5 years of being interested in trials. They're getting ready to play the 911 call. We won't hear it. We will see the emotional reactions. And be mindful of your mental health, guys.
all right. Sometimes in a trial, evidence that is introduced that produces in jurors an emotional response. For example, it's understandable to feel sympathy and empathy when you hear or see certain evidence. But as jurors who have taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you that the law says you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and weight of the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of some of the evidence, including testimony, including exhibits. And so you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. And so you can't find facts or base your decision on sympathy.
We shouldn't be hearing any of the call. Now, there are transcripts of what was said by people, and I believe Nate Eaton has reported. And look, guys, I'm not your mom. I'm not your supervisor. So go to whatever content creator you want. I recommend, Nate Eaton or Defense Diaries, or any number of other people to get updates from the perspective of being inside the court. That's all I'll say on that.
Anger, passion or prejudice or pity for or against either side. Rather, your verdict must be based solely on the evidence that is introduced in this case and my instructions and any other limiting instructions. And I'll go into that, but I just kind of wanted to remind you of that as we go through this. All right, at this point, we're going to play the exhibit, which is, I believe, the 911 call. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I want to remind everyone that there is a order entered by the court regarding.
I will not be playing it with audio. I didn't think that they would be playing it for the gallery, because with the Athena Strand audio evidence, I believe they gave headphones to the jurors, and I thought, or maybe assumed, that it was going to be this way. I am going to take the volume down. This channel is more CSI, more the strategy. We do not need to be voyeurs on human pain.
Be recorded. It's not to be broadcast, and it's not to be reproduced in any way, subject to any sanctions that would go along with the violation of that court order. So I just kind of remind everybody, and that order applies to the media and applies to the public. So I just kind of wanted to remind everybody in regards to that.
No, I
So
have my
with that,
desk up. I'm taking notes.
Kamala?
You'll have to stay on the top. Sir, I have my desk to take notes. Sir. Okay, you'll have to get in between the... Sir. Your girth works against you. Here. Now you're just laying on the desk. No, you cannot eat the mustaches. Although... Nope. You are in my clutches now. Sir? No. Work with me. You wanted to be on screen. No. Make yourself at home. He is all white. He is named Thor. We have Thor, Loki, Bender, and Dingus.
I feel like Bender's close to his end days.
Thank you for reminding me, Griffin.
He looks like it.
He's not looking great, but we're taking...
Down the track.
That is... young man, this is a serious trial. That's why I've been asking you to be quiet if you're going to be in here. I appreciate you like to hang out, but you need to be kind and quiet. And that's what breaks my heart. It's the incongruousness and the realization and blessing that I have my son, right here,
I'm trying
and
to go.
and these kids are gone, and there there's nothing right about that. There's no sense, there's no logic, there's nothing that can make that right. Court TV, put it on the seal. Just put it on the seal. Um, Rogue Mama, I'm not even sure. Usually I can kind of go ahead, but, um, I it's all I can do to just, keep on this. And this is a good point. I mean, I'm fairly good at reading people, and there have been very few, and I did point out that Corey Richins had she was 87% there on verisimilitude as far as innocence and,
Hey,
nai
please, are you ready to be home?
on being able to give off that sort of fey way, vulnerability, protective kind of vibes. Now, it was fake, it was artificial, and, whether you were in tune with your feelings or not, there was something very wrong about it. You might not been able to verbalize what exactly was wrong about it, but there was something not genuine. This is genuine. In my opinion, whatever you feel about this woman and whatever the jury will adjudicate, I read this as genuine. And and people will definitely say, as a defendant, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. People are going to read it through their own personal lens and their own personal read of a great many things. But all I can feel is pity and sorrow. I can't find it within me to be rageful at the moment. I can't find it within me to find righteous justice at this moment, and I don't know if the jurors are gonna be struggling as well.
Jurors, close your notebooks, place them on the chairs. Follow me, please.
And if you are of the, thoughts and prayers variety or, manifesting, however you commune with your higher power, keep the jurors in your thoughts and prayers. They're not allowed to talk to anyone about this. They have to sit in this hell. And again, fuck you, Commonwealth, for doing this to them because they didn't have to sit with this. The defense would stipulate to all of this. So the jurors could get to the very heart of the matter and, still be scarred, still have to see some incredibly terrible things, but they wouldn't have to sit in this absolute hell with all of this. And they can't talk to anyone. Again, screw you, Commonwealth. My drugs go.
Jurors are exited the courtroom. The court's in session. Please be seated.
We'll be in recess at this time.
Thank you.
Court, all rise.
For recess, please exit the courtroom. Clear out the courtroom, please. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's Bree. I think there's going to be that is one of the things that I think respectfully doesn't make sense. And I don't know that you're going to get an answer that will satisfy you. And the only thing I can say is that sometimes we see what we hope to see, and we refuse to see that our partner isn't getting better or things aren't getting better, and we only see what we hope to see. I don't know. It seems easy to say that, if I was in, a similar situation, I would have all the right answers. But life is life, and, who thinks that a you know, something like this is gonna lead to something like that, so I don't know. I do have questions, and I think it's respectful and logical to ask them. I would hope that, it's gonna be explained maybe by experts because, that is something that I do question. I do wonder how not in a victim blaming way, but how certain precautions weren't taken. But then again, I also know when you're living through something, you're just in survival mode. And, you don't know how you legitimately for the first year after my first husband passed away, I do not have any concrete memories, um, of anything, really. I mean, I have blurs, I have impressions, but if you had asked me, like, and I usually have a near eidetic memory about things, and that's what's so disconcerting. Uh, so the only reference I can have is if you're in the thick of things, things that might seem blindingly obvious, could be missed just because you're just in survival mode.
Good morning. Right here, raise your right hand for the clerk.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury that I have now coming between the Commonwealth and the defendant question you to read the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
I'll just step right here, please. And so you can have a seat.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, how are
I'm
you?
going to ask you to keep your voice up and speak into that microphone, please.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Come on.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Angela Krause. It's Angela Krause.
And your date of birth, please.
5/19/77.
Where do you work?
CVS Pharmacy,
And at which location?
Kingston.
And do you know the address of that location?
189 Summer Street.
And how long have you worked there?
4 years at that location.
And what is your role there?
General manager
How long have you been the general manager?
for CVS.
For CVS, yes.
9 years.
And so the entire time you've worked at that location, those 4 years, you've been the general manager at the Kingston store?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to direct your attention to Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And which shift were you working?
Closing.
Which is what hours?
Say roughly 3 to 11.
So that would be 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to direct your attention further to 4:48 p.m. Did you receive a phone call while you were working?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that on the CVS line?
Yes.
And do you know that number?
No.
And where were you when you received that call?
I was in the office
And what were you doing?
preparing to do cash for the night.
And what does that entail?
Closing out the registers.
And the
Okay, Commonwealth, if you won't listen to Mo, have you considered Hoke Mogan? Brother, I don't know where you're going with this, but don't make me bring the smackdown. Look, y'all, I don't listen to WWE, so if someone could, send me over whatever the hell Hulk Hogan used to say, because I'm pretty sure it's not Pity the Fool. I'm pretty sure that's Mr. T, but I can't, in the foggiest of recollections, remember anything about Hulk Hogan except for the made-for-TV movie in which he played a Navy SEAL, which, for context, does not help me in this situation. But brother, I think you're barking down the wrong tree. Or up. Somewhere. For the love of Hoke Mogan, please, dear God, stop.
call that you received, was that from a male or a female?
Female.
And what, if anything, did she say?
She was inquiring if I carried a product in stock.
And what product was that?
It was like a constipation medicine.
Was it Miralax?
Yes.
And did she specifically ask for something to do with children's Miralax?
Well, I asked for clarification because depending on if she wanted children's or adults, it would be in a different part of the store.
Okay. And when you asked for clarification, was she able to provide clarification?
Yes. She said it was for children's.
Okay. And what was your response?
It's located in 2 different places in the store.
Okay. And did you give her any specific brand names or anything like that?
I just said that we carried Pedialax, and that was 13 and 20.
If she went for a name brand, she's obviously guilty. What are we doing here? And I am going to need you to break it down like you are breaking down social interactions to Sheldon. I'm going to need you to talk slowly and at a 3rd grade level, because what are you hoping to achieve here, Commonwealth, other than to make you look even more inept than Kathy Nestor, which I didn't think was a level to which human de-evolution could stoop. But ma'am, you are limboing right under the bar of human decency, and I didn't think with your body type you had the flexibility, but congratulations. I will be sending you into Guinness World Records.
And approximately how long was this conversation?
A few minutes.
During that conversation, did you have any difficulty understanding the woman?
No, ma'am.
Did she appear to have any difficulty understanding you or the questions that you were asking her?
No, ma'am.
And did her voice, did it seem slurred or impaired in any way?
Not at all. It's a very normal interaction.
I was just going to ask, was there anything out of the ordinary about the conversation?
No.
Later that evening, did the police come to the store?
Yes.
And did they request that you pull some surveillance footage for them?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And if I could just have Exhibit 28, the footage up for a moment. If you could look at the screen here, do you recognize the store? Yes. And is this part of the footage that you provided to police that night?
Yes.
And directing your attention over here to the right, the aisle where the gentleman is standing, all the way to the right of the store.
Directing your attention to something that's actually ironically and sadly hilarious, but I would like to direct your attention to Plushy Dreadful, a demented, or let's just say slightly left of normal, stuffed animal company that highlights mental health issues and chronic pain conditions. The fucking fact that a stuffed animal company has more emotional depth than the entire Commonwealth case. Description. Masking refers to the process by which, now this is more for autism, but in my personal opinion, it can go for mental health, uh, grief, substance abuse, just about any sort of trauma that you are currently hiding. Who consciously or unconsciously suppress or hide their traits, behaviors, feelings to fit in with societal norms and expectations. So, yes, while it might be more targeted to autism, the fact that a daggone mother effing Samuel L. Jackson helped me with a tapestry of curse words to express my fucking anger have a better emotional depth than the entirety of the Commonwealth case is ridiculous.
Are you familiar with what was in that aisle in January of 2023?
Yeah, that's our children's aisle.
So that would have things like children's PDLX?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any interaction with that gentleman while he was in the store?
No, ma'am.
And did the police also ask you to provide a copy of a receipt for that gentleman's transaction?
Yes, ma'am.
And just showing you Exhibit 26. Is this the receipt that you provided to the police?
Yes, ma'am.
And on here, it says Skittles Wildberry.
The Commonwealth delved too deep and relied too heavily on the patience of Mo, and now the bitch Balrog has been awakened. Can we get on with banal ridiculousness and actually get to a fucking point at some time in this century?
Would that be Skittles?
Yes.
It also says FLT, PDLX, LQD, GLY for the second item. What does that stand for in CVS?
It's Fleet brand, but then it's going to be PDLX and then a glycerin suppository.
Okay, so the FLT is for Fleet?
Yes.
And the PDLX is for PDLX?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further for the witness, thank you.
All right. Mr. Reddington.
I have no questions. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. We sit down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please.
Yep, using my super analytical powers, that witness did fuck all. You can go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if the witness moved you, and 2 if you've had more productive bowel movements.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth would call Soraya Sweeney. Yeah, sure.
That is a neck. How the hell is Patrick not on trial? He tasted the rainbow. I mean, how do we not know those were edible adjacent? He might have listened to a Bob Marley song too. You know, the state is going with the alternate theory that reefer madness caused this because Lindsay didn't tell her practitioners that she was partaking in an edible once in a while.
That doesn't make a difference to me.
Come on, ma'am. You stop right here, raise your right hand for the clerk, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury, no matter what?
Thank you. Holy my Bob Ross, yes. I need it in a t-shirt. Wait. We're even removing my wonderful overlay I'm so proud of. Yes, yes, and all the yes. I guess I won't be going on that Salem witch trial tour I wanted to, but to be honest, if I don't get to see Massachusetts in this lifetime and I stay out of jail and I still get to mock the Commonwealth, win, 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 win. Thank you so much. Oh, dear Lord, let's listen to the manager of V3s explain what a salmon bowl is.
Between the Commonwealth and the County Cash, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. Thank
This way,
you.
please.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm just going to ask you to keep your voice up and speak into that microphone. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Yes.
Thank you,
Patrice
Honor.
Sprague.
Thank you. Good morning.
This poor woman, this absolute, and, you know, keep her in your thoughts and prayers too. It's obviously affecting her that she even has to be tangentially related to this tragedy. And my heart goes out to her because, again, none of these people needed to show up in court.
Morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Saria, Saria. My last name is Sweeney or Shelgren, depending on what you're.
I so want to pat her. If you are new here, I tend to not know the intrinsic social rules in hugging and tend to just pat people when they're in emotional distress. And I definitely just want to pat her hair. So that is a Valhalla equivalent of a big bear hug. So I definitely just want to pat her hair. I think I'd get more, relief from that, but I definitely want to show comfort. I just tend to pat people. Mr. Mo knows because I'm like trying to show him comfort.
So in 2023 was
It
your
was
last
Sweeney, Sweeny.
And now what is your last name?
Shelgren, Shelgren.
And what is your date of birth?
9/3/89.
And where do you work?
Currently have two jobs. I work at a doctor's office and I also work at 3V. It's a restaurant in Plymouth.
And how is 3V spelled?
It's spelled out the number 3, THREE, with a V at the end.
And how long have you worked at 3V restaurant?
Since 2019.
And where is it located?
In Cordage Park in Plymouth.
Would you like to find the point? Would you like to try a trial? Could you get to a point? Commonwealth, I'm begging you, I'm pleading you. Is it a Boston thing? Must we spend 3 weeks on inane, ridiculous bullshit before we get to the actual point? Is it, and I keep saying Boston because I forget that Boston is not the state, Massachusetts is, which I aced geography, don't understand that. But for some reason, Boston is the state and Massachusetts is the city. Yeah, I'm geographically dyslexic. What can I say? I don't care how they spell the restaurant name.
And in 2023, in January of 2023, what was your role at 3V restaurant?
I was a hostess then.
And directing your attention further to Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, were you working that night?
Yes, I was.
And what shift were you working?
I work an evening shift. Usually I would arrive between 4:45 and 5 o'clock.
And when would your shift end?
Typically between 8 and 9 o'clock.
And what was your role as a hostess?
Greet patrons, take takeout orders, give takeout orders, seat people, generally help with the running of the restaurant front end.
And directing your attention to 5:10 p.m., did you receive a call for a takeout order?
Yes.
And was that a male or a female?
It was a female.
And did that person place an order?
Yes.
And do you recall what she ordered?
Yes.
What was that?
It was.
I mean, at this point, if Lindsay did anything short of calling 3V, like Sling Blade, I'd like some biscuits and mustard. I mean, with the caricature that the state is making of mental health, I mean, again, anything short of Lindsay calling, basically claiming to be John Lennon, Jesus Christ, and the love child of, Hare Krishnas, was her manipulating and faking it. So what criteria do we need to use? Again, state, I ask you, to prove mental health. Do we need to be drooling? Do we need to be crying in the corner in a fetal position? Are we supposed to turn our head 360 and, spew pea soup? What Linda Blair stereotypical 1950s bullshit mental health, criteria would you like people to not only telegraph, but apparently shout out loud so that they will get help?
Is order of risotto and a Mediterranean power bowl.
And the power bowl, is that considered a type of salad at 3?
Yes, a salad, something you've never encountered, ma'am, and me either, because lettuce fucking sucks. But that's a whole other thing. That was an attack, ma'am. Allegedly in Minecraft and only on your weight. And for comedic purposes. I know you're shocked that salads exist, but move on. Don't make me go full rackets. I will go full rackets. You will not appreciate it.
Yes.
Did you ask any follow-up questions about the order of the salad?
Yes.
What did you ask?
We ask if it doesn't automatically come with protein. It's something that we always ask, do you want to add a protein?
Does the Mediterranean power bowl automatically come with protein?
No, it does not.
So,
Jesus Christ, why are we going? Okay, first of all, ma'ams, ladies, y'all are making it too easy to make fun of you as fluffy ladies, as ladies of size, women of girth, whatever. Why the fuck are you dialing in on this bullshit about food? Remember when Kathy Nestor took like 30 minutes to talk about the breakfast sandwich? Again, I'm not the one that's going on gross stereotypes. But if you use them, what's right for the goose is right for the gander. So I get to make gross stereotypes about people of size. And I have been a person of size. I have been fluffy, semi-fluffy. I've never been skinny like y'all. That's not a state of nature I've ever been in. But look, spare me the food talk.
did you ask the woman if she wanted protein?
Yes.
And what was her response?
No, thank you.
And did she also give you the name and phone number of the person who would be picking up the order?
Yes.
And is that something that you enter into the system as you're entering the order?
Yes.
Do you have any trouble understanding the woman?
No.
Did she appear to have any trouble understanding you or the questions you were asking her?
No.
Did her voice sound slurred or impaired in any way?
No.
Was there anything out of the ordinary about this interaction?
No.
Directing your attention to 5:54 p.m. was the order picked up.
Also, I would like to point out for the phone call thing, I struggle mightily with phone calls. Yes, I can make them. Yes, I will take them. And yes, I will deal with them. But usually, if I'm the one initiating a phone call, it is after an hour where I have rehearsed nearly every possible verbal, context or what I might be required to socially talk about on the phone call. Um, Not only that, but because I can't see, the person on the other end of the phone's face, I feel like I'm operating blind. So it is extremely stressful to me. But you wouldn't know it if you're on the phone with me because I'm going to sound normal. I'm going to sound completely normal. I'm going to sound like this. You're not going to have seen the hour before where I talked myself up, picked up the phone, um, you know, avoided it, put it down, did something else, and then finally, sat down and made the call. So, yeah, if you're on the phone with me, I'm absolutely normal. I seem with it, I seem ready to go, but you don't know that I have a notepad in front of me that, has every talking point that I need to make sure that I absolutely cover in this phone call, 3 or 4 tangential things that might be brought up, in relation to that, and then other things. It's I don't say this to change your mind, at the base of it about what you feel about Lindsay, but I do say this to offer a counterpoint, um, you know, because from a certain perspective, I would seem completely normal, and you wouldn't know the fact that it is taking me nearly half a day to work up the motivation, energy, or whatever you need to call it to make this phone call and appear normal. So I'm just putting it out there that sometimes appearing normal costs a lot more than you think.
Yes,
And was it picked up by a male or a female?
a male.
If we could pull up Exhibit 30 footage. And are you depicted in the video here?
Yes,
And where are you?
I'm standing behind the host stand.
And so for the record, the hostess stand or the host stand is in the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah, it's that black stand that has a wooden framer on the top.
So am I pointing to the right area?
Yes.
In the upper left corner?
Yes.
You could play that for a moment. And if you could pause it, please. So we're at 5:54:19 p.m. You see the individual who picked up the order.
Yes.
And which individual is that?
The man in the dark jacket that entered last.
And is he the person behind the couple at the host stand?
Yes.
And showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 31. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what do you recognize it to be?
That is one of our printouts that comes with orders. We attach those to the bags for takeout and have a copy for ourselves as well.
And displaying it. Okay. Here in the line where it says Patrick and then a phone number, is that where you would enter in what the person calling gives you for the information of the person picking up the order?
Yeah.
In the arms of the angel, rest in peace, Mo's ability to give two fucks. No offense, and I really don't mean disrespect to this witness. You can tell how much this is bothering her, but I'm not going to be a part to this anymore. We're going to kind of speed along and watch the closed captions and see if anything actually comes of this. Now, where is this?
Court, all rise.
Now, I think we might be close to where they're actually ready to start again. That being said, the kiddos are asking for a little bit of attention, and we will probably start a little earlier tomorrow to get the last little bit. I think they're only um, going to 3. So we will start a bit earlier tomorrow. Honestly, I think we all just need a little bit of a break. Um, especially, not especially me, but I also think, and I know it's going to sound ridiculous or at least appear ridiculous with the eyebrows. So just listen. I said this before, and if you weren't with us when I said it, a very wise man, Mr. Rogers, said that we live in a very noisy world and we don't give ourselves time to sit in silence and give things the respect and thought and care and dignity that that silence gives us a chance to give them. So I am going to end here for today because what Patrick Clancy had to go through, it deserves for us to sit in it and to feel what he had to go through so that we can make sure that we reach out to parents. If anything good can happen, especially today, reach out to the parents in your life. Just let them know that if they need a break or they need to vent, you know, that you're there. Or, the people that may seem like they have it all together, they might be the ones that are masking the hardest. Um, let's try in our own special way to reach out to people and make sure they're okay today because sometimes they're not. And sometimes the people that seem to have it all together are the ones that are screaming out silently. And let's not let anyone else be silently screaming if we can help it. And if you're silently screaming, as a silent screamer myself, be brave. And you don't have to take a huge step, but maybe share one small thing that you've been masking with someone you trust. Because as hard as it seems, we logically know that they already care about us and love us, and whatever we think that they won't handle, we've probably been doing in front of them for a while. So, give people a chance. Usually by the time that they've made it into the inner circle, uh, they've passed the test. Swear to God, I keep looking at my eyebrows. Sorry. So thank you. And, I do feel a sort of gravitas, but I also feel like Nancy Pelosi because this is what I see every time I see Nancy Pelosi. You have where her natural brow should be and then where she put it. Um, on that note, I'm going to let you go. But as a fully browed YouTube official now, um, I don't toot my own horn. I don't grift for myself much, but if you do have genuine questions about how someone could be dealing with something incredibly, life altering like chronic pain or debilitating, depression and appear normal, I can only speak for my experience with my own life, but I did do a stream yesterday. I do try to tie it back to the trial, but masking is going to look different for everyone. So, if you'd like to kind of see, maybe you genuinely are wondering how someone could appear normal while carrying a metric shit ton of BS, you can, but it'll cost you. And I did a whole stream on it. I'm not a doctorologist, but I have lived it, and I stayed in a Best Western last night. I will see you all tomorrow morning for Mornings with Mo, and then we will affix our eyebrows for justice and be back on the trial tomorrow, starting a bit earlier so we can get whatever else the Commonwealth decided to inflict upon humanity today. Bye, you guys.